I'm Adam Housley, and you're in the strategy room. Secretary of State John Kerry and other top administration officials are facing tough questions about the Iran deal on Capitol Hill today. Lawmakers are raising new concerns about alleged secret side deals struck with Tehran over its nuclear program. Here with reaction are political strategists Douglas Smith and Tom Basile. Welcome to you both. Obviously, this has been a tough sell. There's been a lot of criticism, of course, a lot of it politically based, but also a lot of it is based in fact, and a lot of people that are foreign policy folks are saying there's some concerns here. I guess my very obvious question, and I'll start with Douglas, is does the president have a tough sell to Congress?
I mean, I think it's a medium sell. I mean, look, as a great Chinese philosopher said, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I think the worst thing we could do with this is to ignore Iran. We all know Iran is a serious problem. I think Secretary Kerry deserves a lot of credit to really sticking with it. Are there challenges with this deal? Absolutely. But to completely ignore and not to move forward with something I think would be a really grave mistake. I mean, the one thing I believe that all the Republicans running for president, Secretary Clinton, the Republicans in the Senate and the House can agree on is Iran is a problem. And because of that, I think we need to stay engaged. We need to keep focused on it, particularly as they hold Americans there. The reporter from the Washington Post that needs to be released. To just throw out this treaty without even looking at it, I think would be a really, really serious mistake.
Right. Thomas, I guess one of the points that a lot of people are missing here is that while Iran is a danger, Hamas, Hezbollah, of course, funded by Iran, you have a lot of problems with Sunni Muslim as well, which are countries that we give money to. That's a whole other issue. I bring that up only in this, that a lot of the opposition obviously is politically based. But when you look at the actual deal itself, Tom, there's some serious concerns here. I mean, they didn't address anything to do with our hostages. They didn't, the hostages that are being held there, I should say. They didn't address how you're going to basically oversee this very well. I mean, American inspectors aren't even allowed. I mean, it basically didn't do much. And when you look at it, when you truly put the facts down on paper, yes, it's keeping Iran close, but it's really not holding Iran's feet to the fire whatsoever.
This has been a mad scramble on the part of the administration since we started to get a deal done at virtually any cost. And I think that Bob Corker in the Senate hearing today put it very succinctly. We've gone from Iran being a pariah to essentially legitimizing their claim to have nuclear capability. This deal puts $150 billion, that's half of the Iranian GDP that's been locked up due to sanctions and freezes. That gives them that money back. It relies on an IAEA inspections regime that has failed time and time again. The most important provisions of this expire within 10 years. They're allowed to trade arms. It's a bad deal. The president has a really tough sell, but Congress also has to figure out what they're actually able to do about this deal and how they're going to handle it, and they haven't figured that out yet either.
Douglas, one of the concerns from a lot of people is that it's only delays the inevitable. It really doesn't, again, put Iran's feet to the fire. I will say a lot of the opposition you hear in Congress, obviously political, a lot of it ignorant when it comes down to what's happening there. I think the big concern now, though, for those who are watching this very closely, whether they're political on the right or the left, Douglas, is that are there concerns now about these possible side deals that really haven't been told to Congress are people that should be in the know?
Look, I mean, I think Congress, particularly in a classified setting, deserves to know all that is out there. The one thing I would say, though, is that, I think the average Iranian citizen deserves to see if this deal can go through. We can all agree that the powers that be in Iran are crazy, and what they are trying to do is not right. But there are millions of Iranian citizens who actually want to see Iran come a lot closer to the West. And
I'm going to have both of you guys respond.
Yeah, I think that's something we need to focus on.
There are a lot of good Iranian citizens. Yeah, and there's a lot of good Iranian citizens out there. I've met a number of them, but part of the problem is they don't have the opportunity right now with this under this regime. They don't have the opportunity to see the positive or the potentiality here because the regime is all about the regime and not about the Iranian people. And that's a pretty obvious. That's pretty obvious.
Let's be honest here. This is not the Nixon goes to China moment where we're trying to bring capitalism and trying to open China up. to the rest of the world as a way of sort of dealing with communism and forging a stronger relationship. This deal, the facts of this deal are plain. It leaves the Iranians with a massive nuclear infrastructure when all is said and done, and the inspection regime is a pale comparison to what we had originally said that we were willing to agree to. So I'm concerned about Americans first, and then yes, we do need to be concerned about Iranians and other people who live under totalitarian regimes like this. But this is a bad deal for them, and it's a bad deal for us.
Well, I'll tell you
Yeah,
this,
actually,
we all
I
can agree
kind of
on one
disagree
thing.
because I think
Go ahead, Douglas.
Yeah, I kind of disagree because I think we saw this during the Bush administration, and I think if the cards play out right, we may give the Iranian citizens the opportunity to push Iran a lot closer to where we want them to be. Look, should we be concerned about their nuclear capabilities? Absolutely. But the reality is there are all sorts of places between the UN, obviously Israel in the region, what we're willing to do against Iran if they put their heads up and push this. I mean, we need to get something on paper. We need to start somewhere. We're not giving away the entire keys to the store on this. There will still be tremendous opportunities for
$150 billion to fund
enforcement.
terrorism. $150 billion. That's half their economy.
Yep.
Or $150 billion to allow the people to go up.
Yep, and you know, some obviously time will tell on all this. And Douglas, I will say the Iranian people had a chance back in 08 and 09 with some of the things that happened then, and didn't get much support from the international community. So if it gets back to that situation again, I'm curious to see how we handle it as well. Again, time will tell on all this, so we'll see what happens and how Iran's deal works out in the coming months and potentially in maybe less than that. All right, guys, Douglas Smith and Tom Basile, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys coming into the strategy room.
Good to be with
you. Check out foxnews.com for
you.
more on this, the Iran nuclear deal, and so much more. Until then, I'm Adam Housley, and thanks for watching the Strategy Room.